Hey guys, I'm Evan.
And I'm Alex.
And today we are taking time to talk about things near and dear to our hearts, which is partially superheroes this time, but also ponies.
We're making some headway. Like, eventually we might talk about a thing that has nothing to do with superheroes.
Yeah.
I should say, eventually we'll talk about something that I won't work in superhero references to. Because I think I was talking about comic books when we talked about Warcraft.
True. I mean, will there be a day when you don't work in superheroes or Dark Souls?
I mean, with great power comes great responsibility, Evan.
That's true. So anyway,
you have died.
We are talking about the upcoming death battle that Screw Attack is going to be doing.
Yeah, that was, wow, I can't believe that's... So, Death Battle is doing Pinkie Pie versus Deadpool.
Yeah.
And this was very amusing to us because I'm a big fan of Deadpool, and you're a big fan of Pinkie Pie.
Indeed.
So...
I mean, let's not get it twisted.
Yeah.
Rainbow Dash is my girlfriend.
Right.
But if she had lost her death battle to Starscream, Pinkie Pie would be there to pick up the pieces.
Well said.
So
I'm not really a fan of ponies, but I think Pinkie Pie is the one I enjoy the most. So
So this is a weird thing here because much like the not the last death battle, because that was Zorro versus
what's her face?
Elsa?
Yeah, that sounds about right. I don't watch Fairy Tail. I don't watch crap.
But when the Hulk versus Doomsday one came out and they announced Hulk, we were both sitting here saying, who the heck are they going to get that's going to be a meaningful fight for Hulk? And when they announced Deadpool, that was the thing I said, wait a minute, who could possibly be a match for Deadpool? And yeah, I hadn't even considered Pinkie Pie, but it's...
For Deadpool a second time, because they already did... Well, I mean, Deathstroke is the obvious comparison.
Right.
I mean, he's the obvious counterpoint because he's DC and Marvel.
Yeah. They both
the
wear
character.
two-color outfits, use a sword, have some regen.
Well, and Deadpool is literally a ripoff of Deathstroke.
Well, yeah, that too.
Started off, anyway.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and then, Hulk was a little bit weirder, and, here we are at...
Deadpool versus Ponypool.
I mean, I guess there aren't a whole lot of ways you can go with a Deadpool fight outside of Marvel. Like, I mean, certainly like a Deadpool versus Wolverine would be a good fight,
yeah,
a good thematic fight. But yeah, Pinkie Pie, and of course, the big issue with this fight is that it's a joke fight, like Rainbow Dash versus Starscream.
Was it? Because for Rainbow Dash and Starscream, they seemed like they were pretty for serious with their calculations.
Wasn't that one like an April Fool's fight or something? I could have sworn it was. But,
was it? I don't know.
I mean, regardless of the fact that the fucking pony could beat the giant killer robot, yeah. even one as incompetent as Starscream.
I mean, I thought that, but tornadoes are strong, bro.
But so are laser beams.
Yeah, but you can't hit her if she's Mach 5.
Yeah, but, I mean, the tornado is not going to blow around a 30-foot robot very much, one would think. Especially one that turns into a jet.
Like, jets can't fly in tornado. Anyway, we're off track.
We're doing a different fight now.
Yeah, we are. No, but this is... The only correlation here between these two is their fourth wall breaking, right?
Yes.
Because Pinkie Pie doesn't... I mean, she does and doesn't have superpowers.
It's that kind of thing that you don't really... You're not really supposed to examine too much.
Right.
It's like how, fictional Chuck Norris can do whatever because he's Chuck Norris. Like, that's just the logic that goes into it.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, with these sort of characters you wouldn't think could have a for serious fight, if you actually look at feats they've done in their show, because it's a cartoon, their feats come out bonkers.
Yeah.
And so... And I mean, I've read a bit of the comic of My Little Pony as well, and they already do this kind of... The fourth wall's kind of already broken a bit there, because they do thematic parodies of things. Like,
Oh yeah,
they might all be cowboys, or they don't want all be pirates or samurais. Or...
Well, more specifically, I saw one of the few issues I read was an extended parody of Revenge of the Nerds.
Really?
But done with ponies, yeah. Like,
oh, neat.
It was on a college campus and everything, and they even did the bit at the end with the concert and the hats and everything. And but I mean, that's sort of a passive fourth wall breaking, because the characters aren't aware that they're parodying, like actual things. I also saw Amber showed me the pirate issue, because you can see pony versions of the One Piece characters.
Yeah, that was awesome. I loved that.
In the bar.
Like, that was great.
That was pretty cool, actually, yeah.
And so that brings me... That kind of brings up, I guess, the meat of the issue, which is, okay, you have Deadpool.
Right.
So, fourth wall breaker, regeneration...
And crazy ninja guy.
Kung fu skill. Yeah, ninja stuff.
Like, Deadpool's kung fu is strong enough that he could beat a guy who's all about beating other people's kung fu.
Yeah. Teleportation belt. Anti-regen sword.
Right.
So, that's pretty solid. And I don't know what the extent of his regeneration is. I mean, it's...
See... When he was first created, Deadpool's... and by this I mean when he was first created as a comic book character, Deadpool's regeneration was utterly ridiculous. And to the point where the first actual issue of the Deadpool ongoing specifically nerfs his regeneration.
Oh, okay.
Like, in the first issue, he ends up getting, like, nuked by, like, a gamma bomb or something. And the end result is that it drastically tones down his regeneration ability. They explicitly say so in the comic, and you can clearly tell it's like Superman's too strong, so let's do this thing.
Right. And I mean, that was a kind of thing. I don't know. It didn't actually. I don't know if it actually happened with Wolverine, but Wolverine's been all over the place.
Well, Wolverine's dead.
Okay, right. But I mean,
so his regeneration finally got nerfed all the way.
Yeah, but the last time he could regenerate, I heard that his brain had to be intact for it to happen.
Oh, yeah, people have been all over the place with
But Wolverine. I know that in the past he's regenerated from blood.
Yeah, from a single cell.
Yeah, and from, and so it's...
Yeah, and my follow-up was going to be that despite the nerfing, the problem when you have a character... Like, Deadpool's first couple runs tended to be written by a single person. Fabian Nicieza, Joe Kelly, and so forth. And so... his feats are relatively consistent along those lines. But especially nowadays when Marvel just puts out as many Deadpool comics as they can, it's really hard to get a handle on what he can do. And a lot of people just kind of seem to ignore the whole... If they even remember it was nerfed to begin with. Like, Deadpool has crazy regen again, basically.
Right. And I mean, so I don't know where it is now. Whether it's blood or cell or brain or whatever.
I don't believe I've ever seen Deadpool have to regrow his entire body in any capacity. Most of the time, Deadpool's regen is used for slapstick.
Right, of course.
He walks into a room literally full of bullets.
Yeah.
So that he can be fine in the next comic book panel.
Yeah.
Or just so that they can do something hilariously violent to him and he can survive.
So,
but he's got a lot of punishment, and one of the considerations I had when I was trying to think of this as a quote unquote serious fight is that I don't believe Pinkie Pie packs the offensive capacity to actually take out Deadpool.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was going to get to Pinkie Pie because Pinkie Pie, right, fourth wall breaker. I mean, whatever that amounts to in the fight it will be what it will be, but that's in common. No regen, as far as I know. I don't believe the ponies have regen.
She doesn't have regen, but she does seem to operate on, Looney Tune-esque physics.
Yeah.
Where injuries are a thing that just happens to other people. Because Pinkie Pie, by the nature of her premise, she's just always going to be like somewhere else. Because it's not funny if Pinkie Pie gets hurt.
Right.
But it's funny if other people get hurt because of Pinkie Pie.
Yeah. So, but no regen. The thing is, like, ponies can use weapons, as far as I've seen in the comics.
I don't know if they actually did this, but I a while back I saw an advertisement that they were going to be making like actual pony like action figures, and they were going to be giving them like weapons and shit.
Okay.
I don't know if they ever actually did that. That sounds kind of neat, but don't like the guards have like spears?
Yeah, no, they do. Yeah, ponies
yeah.
can use weapons, and it is, as we've seen through Rainbow Dash's battle, ponies are at least capable of achieving black belt levels of martial arts. So they could give Pinkie Pie the high-end martial arts to match Deadpool, and she can use weapons.
But I mean, there's no reason she should have martial arts. There's never been a My Little Pony episode where she's fought, to my knowledge.
Right, no, she hasn't. I mean, and that's the thing, but
I mean, I think
I'm just trying to stack up something against Deadpool here, because
yeah, she shot the party cannon at the Weird Al pony. I mean, that was a thing, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, she does have...
But I feel like the party cannon would just make Deadpool stronger, because he would absorb the random.
Yeah, and I don't know if we are talking about... if we're comparing something to the teleportation belt, the only thing that I can think of is Pinkie Pie has just turned up places.
I was actually going to bring... She just shows up.
Yeah.
Like the mirror. And like just kind of wherever. She has like her off-screen teleportation.
And even things that you wouldn't expect. Like, I think when Rainbow Dash and Gilda were flying in like season 1.
Oh yeah,
Pinkie Pie just rolls up on her weird copter bike thing.
I forgot about that.
But
and she did walk around like the whole world to get to that Yak Kingdom, and I think she's like the only person who ever did it.
Yeah.
So
she's got cartoon teleportation, and
cartoon teleportation, and like cartoon like endurance and whatnot.
Yeah, but
like
I mean, other than that, it's when you had Rainbow Dash, there was clearly offensive power there. There was like Mach 5. I think Mach 10 was her highest.
Yeah,
there was supersonic speed.
And she does have the weather controlling shit.
Yeah, there was supersonic speed, there was weather control, there was martial arts, there was, feats of just hitting stuff really hard. Like when she freaking slammed into Applejack's barn at Mach 10 to demolish it. And just leveled the thing,
Well, I mean, Pinkie Pie's an Earth pony, and they're supposed to be like the strong ones, right? So
that's true. I mean, that's the thing. If you're gonna,
presumably, she's got a degree of strength.
Yeah, but I think the Pegasi are they have the flash factor going on where their hits hurt because of how fast they're going.
Right, the momentum and whatnot.
But yeah, the Earth ponies, as a rule, I think just have better muscles.
Right.
And so if we're going to compare to... if Pegasi are the Flashes, then Earth ponies are the Hulks.
Right. And I think... I mean, based purely off what other ponies have done, I think she can probably match or exceed Deadpool, because Deadpool has enhanced strength.
Yeah.
But he's not like super strong.
Right.
He's like, I think he's like Captain America like levels of strong, because
probably
the Weapon X program was kind of retconned at one point to be part of Project Infinity, the project that gave Captain America his powers, and they were like trying to replicate the super soldier serum or something like that.
Right.
So yeah, she probably has him on that.
Yeah, I mean, ponies, all freaking cartoons and slapstick aside, ponies are pretty. The ponies in Equestria are pretty monstrous. When they're actually fighting stuff.
Yeah, I saw that episode where her sister showed up, and like she like broke a fucking boulder.
Yeah. I mean, you know, or there. What is it when freaking? I mean, I keep going back to Rainbow Dash because they make her do the most stuff on screen.
Yeah. Do you know which pony we're talking about?
Yeah. No, but it's she's the only one with examples, and we just have to go Pinkie's stronger than her. But I mean, you know, point is, strength and speed, depending. I'm sure that Screw Attack is going to find all the examples.
Oh yeah.
Of all the feats.
I mean, that's why I watch Death Battle, because they're really good at finding shit that you would have no way of finding out.
But even so, just if we're stacking up stuff, I would maybe even argue that Pinkie Pie might have the edge in strength, just by dint of the world she lives in and compared to other ponies of similar species.
Okay. Yeah, I can. Well, the simple fact that she's apparently like a pony, which I imagine a pony has probably got more muscle strength than a human.
Well, yeah.
And I guess Earth ponies are the strongest ponies.
Yeah.
In their universe.
I mean,
so she's probably stronger than the average pony.
Real life horses are already stronger than humans.
Right.
And equestrian ponies are stronger than real life horses.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was trying to that's the train of logic I was trying to.
Yeah, and so,
approach, so
I wouldn't feel bad about giving her the edge in strength. And because she's a quadruped, I wouldn't feel bad about giving her the edge in speed either.
Well, she explicitly just has super speed, doesn't she?
Well, that's true.
Like
yeah.
Pinkie Pie just has flat out like.
Actually, that is
super
true
speed.
because I do remember it has shown her running somewhere when she's in a hurry.
She does the Flash thing. She just goes boom.
Yeah.
She like leaves the like pink like after trail.
Yeah.
And that's not even like a gag thing. Like that's just a thing she does.
Yeah, and it's not going to be Pegasus speed, I imagine.
Right.
Because there's no like sonic boom when she does that.
Right.
But it's probably faster than Deadpool.
Yeah.
So the only real thing that Deadpool probably has is his actual fighting skill.
Well, before that, I would also argue that, and this is not me arguing for a character. This is just us setting up a structure for the argument.
Yeah, exactly.
But I would also probably argue that Pinkie probably has Deadpool on fourth wall breaking as well.
Probably.
Well, solely because Deadpool has a reputation for breaking the fourth wall, but most of Deadpool's fourth wall breaking is limited to him being aware that he's in a comic.
Yeah.
Like, Deadpool knows that he's in a comic, and he knows about, like, the narrative structure, and he knows that he's being read.
Right.
But he typically doesn't really do much, outside of being aware of things. There was a comic where he decided to finally solve his deathless problem by going and murdering the person currently reading his comic. And there's this great infinity shot where he tracks the person down who's holding the comic, and like the guy drops the comic on the floor, and the comic is depicting the exact same scene.
Oh, dude!
And that in itself has a comic in it depicting the exact same scene.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
But that's the exception made just to tell a funny story.
Well, see, I didn't know about that because I was gonna say, I feel like the most I've seen Deadpool utilizing things outside of the fourth wall would be in Marvel vs. Capcom when he grabs the life bar and smacks people with it. So
that was also a thing in Avengers Alliance.
Oh,
he would literally grab his life bar and did the same thing. It was great.
So at the very least, if we were to sort of read into that as they maybe want to do, because I don't know how else you're going to do this fight.
Yeah.
Is if we read into that, we could take those couple of examples and say, okay, Deadpool is capable of grabbing, if not real world objects, just objects outside of objects from outside of the fourth wall, whichever.
I think what you're kind of trying to say is he can weaponize his like narrative environment.
Yeah.
Like he can grab like like HUD elements, user interface elements,
Yeah,
and whatnot,
I suppose.
and do things with them.
Yeah, I mean, and that's probably... I don't know if they would try to extend that to say, you know, he could reach outside of the computer, grab, you know, this drink that's in front of me, and splash Pinkie Pie in the face with it.
Well, he doesn't have to, because going off the Death Battle version of Deadpool, anyway, you know, as a basis, they've already established that their version of him has hammer space,
Oh, that's right.
so he can just pull out like whatever the fuck he needs.
True. Actually, Pinkie Pie also does have, like, infinite pockets, too.
Yeah,
right?
that's where she gets the. That's where the
She
cannon.
she pulls the cannon.
That's where the
and-
cannon comes from. Yeah. So, I've been thinking about how we can approach this discussion,
Yeah.
and my knee-jerk reaction to this setup is that I don't think either character is capable of killing the other character.
Well, I mean, I was going to say, before I lose the thought, like,
Right.
I was going to say, Pinkie Pie's got the edge in strength and speed,
Right.
and possibly fourth wall breaking,
Possibly, yeah.
but I think that Deadpool's got the edge in actual fighting skill and technique.
And weaponry.
Yeah, well, I guess. I've never seen assault rifles in Equestria.
Well, how would you use them?
How do they hold a sword?
With their are either Zorro style or they use telekinesis,
You know,
which Pinkie Pie does not have.
actually, it's weird because in the comic, in the pirate arc of the My Little Pony comic, some of them put the sword in their mouth, but I know they've held other objects just somehow. They've just like
Just with their hoops.
they just sticky hoof it, yeah, somehow. So we don't ask questions. They in the show they drink from cups that don't have a because when they have the mug, they show them sticking their hoof in the mug thing.
Yeah.
But they drink from cups and they just kind of stick it on there, and you don't ask questions.
And all the houses have doorknobs, even though nobody actually uses the doorknobs.
True. I think that they've shown them turning it with their mouths.
I mean,
Occasionally.
I'm not an expert. All I remember ever seeing is people like pushing the door open.
Yeah.
Like there's
But-
apparently no locks.
Point is,
Yeah.
so I think Deadpool's probably got the edge in arsenal and fighting technique.
Yes.
If not, you know. And also, the regen. I don't know what Pinkie has to combat the regeneration. Unless she's just going to say, hey, you're Deadpool. Carbonadium sword. You know, or something.
I mean, but I'm saying, barring something like that,
Yeah.
I don't believe either character can kill the other character.
Probably not. I mean,
Because the Carbonarium sword, like Pinkie Pie doesn't actually have regeneration.
no, she doesn't.
So that's not gonna. She just doesn't get hurt by things unless
Yeah.
it's funny, and even then, not enough to get seriously hurt by anything.
Yeah, and I mean, unless Deadpool has, like Wolverine, a sort of minimum amount of matter, which he has to regenerate from, the only way Pinkie would be able to hurt him meaningfully is to pull out some kind of anti-regen weapon,
Right.
you know, like the Carbonadium blade, or like...
But that's like outside the scope of the character.
Exactly,
is
and that's
issue.
the problem. And so that's the thing. It's sort of like,
It's-
I don't see...
It's like the whole like, well, all Goku has to do is teleport Superman, into a red star, and then he wins the fight that way.
Yeah,
It's like it's a thing that can happen, but it's a thing that's not going to happen within the confines of the character's narrative.
it is almost kind of like a Goku and Superman-esque thing with regard to, I think Deadpool just probably can't actually touch Pinkie Pie if we look at some speed, feats. But and despite him probably being better at martial arts, I don't know if it matters, because unless he's shooting her with a gun or cutting her with a sword, I don't think him punching her will actually
Right.
affect her in any...
Well, I also don't I'm relatively certain that that Screw Attack isn't going to be animating a pony getting mutilated to begin with.
No, they. I don't think they're afraid of it because they did show freaking Charizard getting his wings ripped off and getting freaking blown up by Blastoise.
Yeah, but Charizard's a dragon. Big scary dragon.
I guess.
Pinkie Pie's an adorable pony who's pink.
Maybe. So I don't know. I think you might be right though. I think it's just by dint of the fact that I don't think Deadpool can hurt or touch Pinkie Pie, and I don't think Pinkie Pie can combat the regen.
Right.
It might just sort of be a tie, and then they decide.
I think it's going to come down to a dance-off.
Yeah.
And then when the dance-off is resolved, I think they're going to go out for tacos.
I think that they're going to realize they can't hurt one another and say, okay, whoever has sold more comics with. I think they're going...
They turn it over to the viewers and say, all right, viewers, you have 1 week to buy as many comics as possible.
I think they're going to they're going to recognize they can't kill each other. They're going to realize that they're going to take a note from Teen Titans and realize that a character's strength comes from their fan power. And then say, yes, all right, let's see who sold more comics. And whoever has more fans is going to then receive a massive power boost and just obliterate the other guy.
I've reevaluated. I think that in lieu of going out for tacos, they're going to go out for churros.
Okay.
Because, see, Deadpool likes Mexican food, and Pinkie Pie likes sweets. So, that's the perfect compromise between the two characters.
Well. Anyway, I don't... Yeah. There's no...
Are we done?
We might be done. Because...
I think we might be done.
So what was the verdict? They just can't kill each other?
I don't think either of them can kill each other. I think...
The solution is going to have to come from outside the fourth wall.
Yeah. Well...
It's got to be done. Like,
there's going to be three ways this goes. Okay. They're either going to do the Sega Distansio thing and just have the fight keep going on forever.
Oh, yeah, for infinity, right.
Yeah. Or they're going to do some variation of my proposed ending.
Right.
They're just going to give up and be friends.
Right, okay.
Because I feel like there has to be an issue of Marvel made sometime in the last, 10 years where Deadpool's been caught reading, a My Little Pony comic or something.
That seems plausible.
I feel like that has to be a thing.
That seems very plausible, yeah.
Right. Or they're just going to have, one of the characters just do something implausible and destroy the other character. Oh, there actually was one more minor thing that I wanted to bring up in the evaluation. That I do believe that Deadpool does have Pinkie Pie when it comes to tactical planning.
Okay.
Because in his own weird, wacky way, Deadpool is actually extremely cunning. There's a comic book. There's a comic I love, which the internet has also embraced. Have you seen the Pancake comic?
I have not seen the Pancake comic.
There's an issue of Deadpool where he's trying to join the X-Men, and so you get a scene where Deadpool has cooked, he's actually cooked 377,000 pancakes.
Why that number?
Well, see, because later on, Domino comes to see Deadpool. For reasons. I think the X-Men are investigating what the hell he's doing there. And Deadpool surprises her and then knocks her through a glass ceiling, and she falls upon the pancakes.
Wait, what?
He baked the pancakes in advance so that when she showed up, he could surprise her and incapacitate her by knocking her onto the pancake pile. Then they had breakfast.
But why did he need to incapacitate her?
Because he wants to join the X-Men, and that was it.
Oh, he needs to prove that he can,
Well, he needed to stop her from doing anything to him, and then also get her in a situation where he could send a message back to the X-Men, which is he wants to join.
Oh, okay.
And he also wanted to wear the Marvel Girl outfit, which is horrible.
So, okay, I just thought... So you're mentioning ridiculous things here. I just thought... There's one more factor that we may not have considered here.
Oh, actually, one more thing.
Okay.
In terms of their combat abilities, Deadpool can canonically pull off the Shoryuken. And
Now?
yes, this is an in canon thing.
Okay.
When he was trying to provoke Wolverine into a fight, he did the Shoryuken on Kitty to piss off Wolverine.
Okay.
And as we all know, going by classic Street Fighter rules, the Shoryuken, you are 100% invulnerable during the first half of the Shoryuken animation.
Oh, that's true.
Yes,
that is true.
So as long as Deadpool has the awareness to just keep Shoryukening through anything Pinkie Pie throws at him, he's gonna be invincible at least half the things that she does.
It's sort of like there is that, I don't know if you'd call it a technique, but back in the day, when I was a youngin' playing Street Fighter 2, I remember that you could beat a lot of opponents just by spamming the light punch Shoryuken.
I was actually just going to say
because
that.
you got so little air.
Yeah, it's a short little hop.
You got so little air that...
Yeah. And the rising animation is the thing that's 100% invincible.
Yeah. So you were invulnerable, and you got an attack at the same time.
Right.
So if you just kept dragon punching as you landed, you would phase through a lot of stuff and kind of do this relentless assault.
Yeah, you could jump right through the fireballs and stuff. It was great.
So okay. That actually sort of touches upon what I was going to say, where we hadn't considered just weird... And I don't know if Deadpool does this kind of thing, but another place where Pinkie Pie might have the edge is just sort of weird supernatural powers that you wouldn't expect, and that have no basis in anything, but that she just pulls out of her butt. Like, I was thinking of, in the pirate arc we were talking about, there was a time when, I think they were all the ponies were getting captured by a giant antlion. This big sinkhole opens up, and you know how the antline's at the bottom, and you kind of slide down into the middle,
right?
And it chomps you. So they were all stuck in the cascading sands, getting closer to the deadly antlion who's going to eat them. They were like, "Oh man, what are we going to do?" And then Pinkie, just out of nowhere, goes, "Oh, hang on, guys, I've got this." And does this weird cry. She just does this call out into the distance. And it's like, okay, what the hell is that? And in the next panel, just tons and tons of freaking crabs start crawling out of the ocean. And they just all crawl into the pit and swarm the guy. And freaking start pinching him and attacking him. And then part of the massive crabs just carries them all off to safety. And I was like, wow, what was that, Pinkie? And she's like, what? You guys can't talk to crabs? They're like, no, we can't. She's like, oh, well. And
well, generally no, because, again, with Pinkie Pie, the joke... with Pinkie Pie, the joke is the things that happen to other people.
Right.
Whereas with Deadpool, the joke is what happens to Deadpool.
Yeah, so, that's true.
In that same scenario, Deadpool would summon the crabs, and they would, eat him or something.
Yeah, they'd just eat him, and then he'd regenerate back from his face.
Exactly, because that's how the Deadpool narrative works. So, yeah, when he pulls something out of his ass, it's normally a comically large gun.
Yeah.
Or something weird like the inflatable sheep gun.
Yeah,
that's become so famous.
So, I don't know if that's a factor that can be used, but I think maybe in the just pulling some completely based on nothing situational feat out of her butt hole, Pinkie might have the edge there.
Actually, I don't think it will actually factor in.
Okay.
But there was that one episode where the ponies all became superheroes.
Oh man.
I don't actually remember what her superpowers were.
Pinkie was
she the super fast one?
Possibly, because I know Fluttershy was the Hulk.
Yeah.
Right?
And
freaking
I don't.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I know.
I read that issue.
Well, there was an episode of the cartoon where it was first an episode of the cartoon.
Oh, okay.
And I know Applejack was a Batman, Wonder Woman sort of dealy.
Okay. Pinkie might have been super speed.
I think she might have been super speed.
Because I know they didn't give Rainbow Dash super speed because she already has that.
Right.
And in fact, they took it away when she was her...
Yeah, I think she was like the Flash.
Yeah. Because I specifically remember saying, wait, why are you super speed? You know, why didn't you just give it to Dash? And then I thought, okay, well, Dash is OP because she's got super speed plus whatever they gave her. But in that setting, they got rid of her speed and made somebody else the speedster, and I think it was Pinkie.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I remember her like running around and eating like cupcakes or something. So
yeah. But I mean, Pinkie's already fast. She's already faster than Deadpool.
She doesn't. Anyway. Yeah, she doesn't. I mean, she doesn't have it as an explicit superpower,
right?
But she's already demonstrated that she's super fast anyway. So yeah. I guess that probably doesn't factor into things.
Anyway, the big issue is none of this crap can get around. The issue is none of this crap can get around Deadpool's regen, which is why I think they're just gonna do tacos.
Deadpool has too much regen, and Pinkie Pie operates on Bugs Bunny physics. So none of them will be able. I don't think either of them will be able to definitively kill each other, and they will just go out for churros.
Okay, I'm. Anyway, so that's our prediction.
Yeah,
tie. It is a draw. Is the official wasting time call.
All right.
On this, or taking time, or whatever.
Wasting time.
That is the time wasters verdict.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Our seal of approval. Pending.
Yeah, we're 0-1 though, so our record's not good.
I still think Hulk should have won.
Okay.
And they don't believe it for the same reasons as me, but there are legions of people on the internet who also think that Hulk should have won. So I'm claiming the moral victory.
Okay. So does that was disqualified? We're 0-0.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we're officially at 0-0.
Okay.
Also, I might just delete that video so there's no video evidence.
Yeah, no, we're at 0-0 and a bye. So,
yes.
That's what it is. Okay. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. If you have insights, and care, leave them in the comments.
Yeah.
Other than that, we'll see what happens when the death battle happens.
Yeah. See you guys next whatever we do.
Yeah, later on.
Later.